If February 14th feels like just another Saturday to you, you're not cold, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. Every year, timelines explode with roses, candlelight dinners, surprise proposals, and captions about forever. And then there's a quiet group of people who wake up, brush their teeth, go to work, feed the dog, answer emails, and feel nothing special about the date. Let me talk to you for a second. If that's you, have you ever wondered why? First, let's clear something up. There's nothing wrong with celebrating Valentine's Day. For some people, rituals matter. They like marking time. They like public declarations. It gives structure to their affection, and that's beautiful. But there's also something deeply interesting about the people who don't attach meaning to it. Psychologically, indifference toward Valentine's Day often reveals something about how someone experiences love. Many of these people don't rely on symbolic dates to validate connection. They don't need a calendar to remind them to care. In fact, some of them feel that if love only shows up on one scheduled date, something is missing the other 364. I've noticed that people who are neutral about Valentine's Day often fall into one of a few categories. Some are steady lovers. Their affection is consistent, quiet, and practical. They show love by fixing things, remembering your coffee order, or texting to make sure you got home safe. Grand gestures don't move them as much as reliability does. To them, love is maintenance, not fireworks. Others may have grown up in environments where affection wasn't expressed through gifts or dramatic celebration, so their nervous system doesn't associate love with spectacle. It associates love with safety, and safety feels calm, not flashy. And then there's another layer we don't talk about enough. Some people stay emotionally neutral around Valentine's Day because they've detached from external pressure. They don't want to perform romance for social media. They don't want to measure their relationship against someone else's highlight reel. Indifference can sometimes be a quiet rebellion against comparison culture. Let me ask you something gently. When you see couples posting elaborate surprises online, does it inspire you or exhaust you? There's no right answer, but your reaction says a lot about how your brain processes social validation. From a psychological perspective, people who are unfazed by Valentine's Day often have a more internalized sense of love. They don't need witnesses. Their bond feels real even if no one claps for it. That doesn't mean they love deeper than others. It just means their emotional reward system isn't tied to public acknowledgement. I'll be honest with you, I've always respected that kind of love. The quiet kind, the kind that doesn't panic if the flowers are late, the kind that doesn't interpret a missed dinner reservation as a threat to the relationship. Because here's the deeper truth. How you react to Valentine's Day often mirrors how you experience attachment. If you feel anxious when it's ignored, it might not be about the holiday. It might be about reassurance. If you feel pressured to overperform, it might not be about romance. It might be about fear of falling behind socially. And if you feel neutral, it might mean your sense of connection is stable enough that it doesn't hinge on a single date. I want to say this carefully. Being indifferent doesn't automatically make someone emotionally evolved. Sometimes indifference can also be avoidance. Sometimes people downplay Valentine's Day because they don't want vulnerability. They'd rather act like it doesn't matter than risk being disappointed. So the real question isn't whether you celebrate. The real question is, what does love feel like to you on an ordinary Wednesday? Because that's where psychology gets interesting. Love at its healthiest is repetitive. It's predictable. It's not always cinematic. And for many people, that predictability feels more romantic than any bouquet ever could. If you're someone who treats Valentine's Day like a normal day, maybe that says something beautiful about you. Maybe you don't chase spikes of intensity. Maybe you value emotional stability over seasonal excitement. Maybe you believe that if love is real, it should survive without decoration. And if you're someone who loves the celebration, that says something beautiful too. Maybe you enjoy intentional pauses. Maybe you thrive on ritual. Maybe you see romance as something worth spotlighting. Neither is superior. What matters is awareness. I think the healthiest couples are the ones who understand each other's love language around these moments. One might crave acknowledgement, the other might crave simplicity. The magic isn't in choosing the correct stance. The magic is in recognizing what your partner's nervous system responds to. Let me leave you with this. If February 14th passes quietly for you and you still feel secure, that's powerful. If it's celebrated loudly and you feel connected, that's powerful too. The problem only begins when we outsource our sense of love to a date or use indifference as armor. So tonight, whether there are roses on your table or just leftovers in the fridge, ask yourself something honest. Do I feel valued on the ordinary days? Because in my experience, that answer matters far more than anything written on a calendar. And if you do feel valued, even in the quiet, then maybe that's the real kind of romance.